Hi again, everyone. Dan Kelly as we head for sudden death overtime in this second game of the Stanley Cup Final Series, recapping the third period in a great hockey game. Bob Gainey gave the Canadiens the lead from Jarvis and Houle at 12-12. Just around the 15-minute mark, Yvan Cournoyer had two sensational tries for a goal. Jerry Cheevers making remarkable saves. The Bruins came right back, and they tied the game. Rick Smith scoring from Cashman and McNabb at 15:48. That tied it at 2-2, and now we are on sudden death overtime. Of course, last year, you'll recall, in the fourth and final game of the final series in Boston, the Canadiens won the Stanley Cup in overtime in the fourth game of that series. We're going to have a little bit of an overtime chit-chat with a great star, a Hall of Famer, Jean Beliveau, and a newcomer to the National Hockey League, rookie Mike Bossy of the New York Islanders. Jean, if I didn't know you so well, I might say we could call this interview or this session the old and the new, but I know you're a nice guy and you wouldn't like me to introduce you like that. Jean is still active, of course, as the vice president with the Montreal Canadiens, a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame. And Jean, you scored one big overtime goal for this Montreal club. That was in the 1969 Stanley Cup semifinals against this Boston Bruins.
I believe
you remember
so,
it well?
against Boston, second overtime.
Yeah.
Kind of game like tonight. If I remember right, the score was 2-2. That puck went around the board, and Fergie ran. I think Ori was playing, and Fergie went after Ori. Ori threw that puck around, and Provo just got it inside the blue line. And I just gave Claude a little yell. And Green was playing and tried to stop the shot, but I just had time to wrist shot, let it go, and about the same play that Bob Gainey shot scored his second goal tonight.
And that goal won the series against Boston and sent you into the final against St. Louis, and you won the Stanley Cup that year.
Went to St. Louis after.
Mike Bossy, your first Stanley Cup overtime game was game 2 of a series earlier this year against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and bingo, you get a goal in it.
Yes, I scored the goal in that overtime game. I had at least 3 tries to get it in, and the puck kept on bouncing out, and finally I was able to swipe it in.
Mike, just a sensational season for you. 53 goals as a rookie, and you're not playing at this point, and I know that has to be disappointing, but John, what a future this young man has ahead of him after a start like that.
It's certainly nice to see youngsters with great talent coming up. It's good for the game, and allow me to take this opportunity to congratulate Mike on this fine year. He made some great play, great goals. Certainly like his wrist shot.
Gets it away rather quickly, doesn't he?
It's certainly nice. Today you see too many slap shots, and especially when a guy has to take a long wind-up. That's why you see too many of those slap shots were deflected, because the guys take a long wind-up. But it's nice to see youngsters coming up with such a great wrist shot.
John, what about this hockey game so far? It's been, I said, a great game.
Well, I think it's a great Stanley Cup game. It's a very tough game out there. Maybe most of the fans don't really notice all the holding there's there tonight. Every time there's the players against each other, you see a stick if the players are defending, and it's very tough to carry a player on every play. It reminds me some of the game we had with the Leafs many years back. But in a Stanley Cup, when you reach a Stanley Cup Finals, if you expect that you won't be checked, don't be out there. Don't expect that. The Stanley Cup is hard to get. And I remember when I was captain, I used to tell the youngsters, we're close with it, maybe only 3 or 4 games. It might take many years. I know many great ones who, naming Gadsby, for 20 years, a great hockey player, and never won a Stanley Cup. So you know that you're only 3 or 4 games away, and everybody gain a little more out there.
Mike, what are your impressions of this game?
Well, it's a nicely played hockey game. Boston has come back and really played well tonight, considering their performance the other night. And Canadiens missed a lot of chances, especially Pierre Mondeau in the first period and Yvan Cournoyer in the latter part of the third. And then you had Boston, Jean Rattel missed a couple of chances. It's going to be a real tight-checking overtime period, and it might even be a fluky goal that wins the game.
Sean, correct me if I'm wrong. It seems in overtime in recent years, the teams seem to open up more quickly than they used to. It seems to me in 10, 15 years ago, they used to play it more cautiously in overtime. Do I have the right track on that?
Well, You're probably right. I think as a whole, we all recognize that hockey is maybe a little faster than 10, 15 years ago. And I suppose that both teams try to use element of surprise, hoping to get a quick goal, and on many occasions it had happened.
Are you looking for both teams to go right after it
Well,
right away?
the way they've been playing tonight, they've been checking very close, but I'm sure that they're going to certainly, if the occasion or the opening happen, they're certainly going to give it a good try, I'm sure.
Mike, one thing, Jerry Cheevers in this hockey game to me is looked like the Cheevers of, well, years ago. He's just been remarkable.
Well, Jerry is a great goaltender, and he likes to challenge the hockey players who come at him and shoot. And he's had a lot of success with it tonight, especially against Yvan Cournoyer once in the third period, where he tried to pass it to Riseborough at the corner of the net. And if he keeps on coming up with the big saves in the overtime period, they just could win the game. But then again, you have Guy Lafleur and Schutt and Lemaire and Cournoyer, the fast skaters on the Montreal team that just could break it open.
Let's give you fellas an opportunity to say what you think is going to happen and perhaps who's going to win the game and who's going to score the goal. Mike, we'll start with you. You're the young guy and the rookie.
Well, Montreal's a heavy favorite, and I predict Montreal will win it, and I maybe give it to Lafleur, who hasn't had very many chances to score tonight, or Yvan Cournoyer, who has missed a lot of chances.
You go along with that thinking, Mr.
Well,
Vice President
well, I
of
have
the
no other
Montreal
choice. But,
Canadiens?
yeah, but I'm going to take Lemaire.
You're going to take Lemaire?
Yes.
That's Jean Beliveau, and that's Mike Bossy. We thank you, fellows, for bringing back some memories, Jean, of your overtime goal and for Mike's overtime goal of not very long ago, earlier this year in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll return with the Stanley Cup 78 in just a moment.
How to help provide early warning protection against fire. No two fires begin the same way. Sometimes they start as simply as this. To help protect your family, General Electric developed the Home Sentry smoke alarm system. When this sensitive device detects smoke, it sounds a warning, providing time for escape. The GE Home Sentry system. It could help save your family's lives. Canadian General Electric, working to give you your money's worth.
Sports on CBC television, amateur or professional, men's or women's, team action or individual effort in provincial, national, or international events, such as the Commonwealth Games taking place in Edmonton in August. CBC brings it to you right here.
Lou Nanny, the general manager of the Minnesota North Stars, a regular on our Stanley Cup final telecast. Lou, a quick comment from you on the third period of regulation time.
Well, Dick, it was a fine play period, really tight checking, as Jean Beliveau said. There was a lot of interference, but there were some good chances by both teams, and especially by Cournoyer, that just seemed to turn the tide at that moment on the ice. He had two great chances to put the game away for the Canadiens. Cheevers with unbelievable saves comes up with the key stop in the same play. The puck goes on the ice, and Boston capitalizes and ties her up.
All right, we have the highlight, I believe, of the tying goal that was scored by Rick Smith, only his second playoff goal, Lou, in 57 Stanley Cup games. And this is the rush just after Cheevers had made the save.
That's right. The puck is put into Montreal zone, and you have to remember at this time your defensemen are going to gamble. You're down 2-1, it's late in the game. O'Reilly fighting hard in the corner for the puck, and he's backed up by McNabb. As the puck comes out to Cashman, there's a big jam up in front. Now, when you see McNabb and both LaPointe reaching for it, they miss it, and here comes Smith sliding in and just fires that puck in the net, ties the score, and as you know right now, the momentum could be on Boston's side.
A couple of things that interested me. Oh, we're going to see this again from another angle. I think this is almost the angle you had from where you were sitting. But O'Reilly makes a good play here. He hangs tough after LaPointe had taken him out. And that's what started it, with the Bruins maintaining control. Or
here's LaPointe and McNabb both reaching for it, and the puck stays there. and that's Smith following up the play, as you see, and putting it in the low corner by Dryden.
Lou, in the game tonight and in that period, as we look at it again, the Canadiens had, it seemed to me, a lot of 2-on-1 chances, and most of the time they didn't get a shot on the net. It's very strange to see them in this situation.
Well, Dick, you know the Canadiens are a shooting club, and what they've been doing, they've had numerous 2-on-1 chances, and the puck area has been unloading the shot. I don't believe they've tried one pass across on the 2-on-1 all night long, and as you said, they aren't getting shots on the net. They're hitting the glass, they're missing the net. They're really trying to drive it past Cheevers rather than just going for a corner and maybe a rebound as the second man's coming in on the net. And because of this, the play seems to be catching a couple of Canadians deep, and Boston has come back numerous times and had chances of their own.
I know you noticed something really Lafleur-Marcotte matchup in that third period.
Well, Cheever, or I should say Cherry, was keeping Marcotte on Lafleur, and Scotty was keeping Lafleur off the ice until Montreal got the lead 2-1. Now they put Marcotte back on the ice, and he puts Lafleur out because he knows Marcotte's going to check Lafleur, not thinking about scoring as much. So when you're leading, you want to put your scorers out there hoping that they're going to be checked and time's going to run out on them. But now you go in the overtime. Now what do you say? If I'm Scotty, I start Lafleur because he can win it. If I'm Don Cherry, I start Marcotte because now the longer it goes, the momentum of the home rink is gone by now. And the longer it goes, Boston's got a better chance to win it.
Very briefly, Lou, your comments at the top of the show about the way the Bruins should play, or you expect them to play, has pretty well come true.
Yeah, they played a lot tighter than they did the other night. They weren't forechecking that second man unless they were sure. They came back with four guys across the blue line, forcing Montreal to dump it in. Consequently, Montreal's not getting the open shots that they had the other night.
This is the first time this year that the Montreal Canadiens have gone into sudden death overtime. The Bruins, it is the 5th time for the Bruins. They had 2 overtime games in their series with the Chicago Blackhawks and a couple in their series with the Philadelphia Flyers, perhaps only one. I just kind of caught me on that for just a minute. Anyway, the Bruins have been there before this year. The Canadiens have not, and they're going into overtime right now with the score tied 2-2. We heard a lot of predictions here a moment ago from Mike Bosky and John Beliveau who might score. Let me see, they both picked the Canadiens.
Well, I've got to go with the Canadiens, and I was going to go with Lemaire because he's got the shot, and really he's dangerous all night long, and I expect Lafleur to be watched more. Lafleur, as you know, is the most dangerous player, but Lemaire is awful dangerous, and he makes his chances count. He did it last year against Boston.
One thing that is often said, the team that ties the game late in regulation time has the old cliche momentum going when overtime starts. Does it hold true?
Well, I'd have to say right now Boston's very confident. They've come out here, they've played an excellent game, they've showed that they can play the Canadiens. They feel that they can beat the Canadiens in there, and I think they've got a good chance to do it.
The goaltending, I don't know. I look at goaltenders, Lou, all year in hockey, but when it comes to sudden death overtime, that's got to be something else to stand there.
Well, Jerry Cheever's been through it quite a bit, so has Kenny Dryden. They're both professionals. Cheevers, as you know, it just seems to be a money goaltender, and really it could be a fluke that wins it. I don't see either of these goaltenders giving up anything easy, so it could go off someone's shoulder or skate blade or stick. It could be a deflection that wins it.
I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to say if the Canadiens win the game, it'll be Steve Shutt. Of Boston, it'll be Jean Rattel. All right, thank you, Lou Nanny. Now, back up to the broadcast booth, and here again, Danny Gallivan.
Okay, Lou and Dick, and as we mentioned when we wound up the third period, when you get into overtime, it's punctuated with drama and excitement. You went through it in the 7th game against Toronto. What did you talk about in the dressing room? Did your coach say, okay, boys, let's storm after them right away?
Yeah, we talk about getting the goal early.
You can say hello to Moose Jaw again.
I think they're probably getting sick and tired of seeing me, Danny. What you try and do, of course, is be confident going in. And one of the things we said, well, listen, we know what's in here, who's going to be the hero? And I'm sure both teams are saying that type of thing where they're both, trying to build each other up, confident-wise. And then I think both teams are going to try and end it early. As we talked about, Montreal maybe have to go with 3 defensemen. You don't want it to drag on too long, or I'm sure they don't. Boston, the same thing. They want to get that first goal. Not give Montreal too many good chances. So I think both teams are going to come out storming, or at least attempt to.
Well, Chico, the last time Boston and Montreal went into overtime here at the Forum in Montreal was April the 24th, 1969. Beliveau scored. That's his only overtime goal at 11:28. That was into the second overtime period. Montreal 2, Boston 1 on that occasion. Right now, as we get set for overtime play, in this the second game of the 1978 final series, the score is tied at 2 goals. We have Lemaire going out with Lafleur and Shutt. And it is Shepard, Marcotte, and Schmutz, the forward line for Boston. Play is underway, and here's Savard scooping it ahead. It's picked up on the left side by Milbury. It's in over the line. Robinson going after it, and there is an offside.
I see Bill Nyrob is not on the bench, Danny, so it might be something a little more serious than we anticipated.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Scotty Bowman will go along with 3 defensemen rather than use Lupien or Bouchard?
I think he will for a time, but if it drags on, he's going to have... Savard looks very tired out there.
Here's Robinson up on the left side, and it goes to Shutt. There's the shot! And that went off at a peculiar angle off the left glove hand of Chivas. Shepard, his pass knocked down. Lafleur over to Shutt with Lemaire. Broken up at the line by Milbury. Lafleur backhanding it in. We're into overtime. Now Park got rid of it. Down the ice it goes. This will be an icing against the Boston Bruins. How about that shot by Shutt?
What made it difficult was the fact that Shutt, again, somebody had a stick on him and he didn't get all the puck. So it's kind of like a change-up in baseball. You're expecting the big boomer. And see here, Brad takes a little bit off the shot, and as you can see, it just caught Jerry on the edge of the glove. And what the heck, as long as it goes wide, it doesn't matter if it's by a foot or 3 feet or an inch, or as long as you get a piece of it. Jerry did the job.
That's that power of positive thinking.
That's right. That's what you have to do in a situation like this.
Canadians, everybody. Up, there's a shot by Lemaire right on. That was almost into the net, but Cheevers was there. Here's Park, clearing it off the boards. At center, Lemaire has it. Twisting and turning, getting some skating room. A good move by Lemaire. Takes the shot. The rebound, big rebound right in front of the net. And Smith finally cleared it. Here's Lafleur back into Lemaire. He shoots it. It's off the leg. And Rattel has it for Boston. Rattel to Rick Smith. Into the center ice area to the Canadiens line. Robinson giving it to Lemaire. Lemaire shooting it off the leg, and Park is back there in his own zone. Canadiens have made changes. Park ahead to Rick Smith. Off his stick, and it's swept over the boards at the Boston bench by Guy Lapointe.
Boston weathered the storm there. As you know, they started Shutt, Lafleur, and Lemaire hoping probably to get that early goal. They got a lot of good chances, but Boston weathered it. And now Boston probably will attempt to throw a little more offense into the game. They've been kind of playing this whole first overtime in their own end. And it's tough to score from your end of the ice.
It's definite now that Bowman is going along with 3 defensemen.
Yes, yep.
He just sent Savard out. Robinson went to the bench. Lapointe is the other defenseman. Here's Lapointe on the right side, rolling it ahead. Rick Smith has it for Boston. Ahead it goes to O'Reilly. In on the left side. Cashman being watched by Lapointe. It's center. Puck loose in from the net. McNabb was tied up. Here's Mondeau down on the right side. A pass. Réjean to Gainey. There's the shot. Cheevers. He looked as if he were going to leave the rink.
Well, like I say, Jerry likes to get involved and put on a little bit extra, and that's good. You know, that keeps a goalie in the game, and he does it well. And he's playing extremely well. I'm really happy for him, too, because...
Well, he has a reputation of being a money goalie.
Yeah, he likes money as much as any goalie in the league, I think.
Well, if that's the case, all you people are excellent. Now O'Reilly in on the boards against Gainey. Mondeau is bumped by Doak. Here's Doak clearing it to the point. Savard has it. Over it goes to Réjean, and the Bruins, 4 of them coming to center. Over to O'Reilly. Across the line. He loses it. McNabb is going to keep it in. He was bumped after getting clear of it by Gainey. Now it's Lapointe. Ahead to Savard. Back to Lapointe. Dangerously in front of the net. He gets away. Lapointe down on the right side. Clearing it in. Here's Cashman was shot after him to the other side to O'Reilly. Kept in by Lemaire. He lost it. McNabb to O'Reilly. Down to the line. Picked up and wheeling away on the right side. A ski shot. He gets away from the check. And it was O'Reilly who went flying. Pass goes to the open wing, and now Brad Park clearing it ahead. Oh, it almost got by Robinson with Schmutz getting in behind him. Now it's Savard at center. 4 Canadians to the Boston line. A pass broken up by Marcotte. Over on the left side. McNabb elects to go to the Boston bench. Here's a pass off the boards for Schutt going in. Park sweeps it away. Schutt again to Lafleur. Now it goes to Robinson. Cleared by Shepard. And it's into the center ice area. We're nearing the 4th minute mark in the overtime. It's tied at 2 goals. There's Lafleur moving in. Off the boards it goes. Lafleur after it again, and the Bruins tip it down on the right side. Here's Schmott. Schmott's trying to tee it up. He couldn't center it. Robinson in the corner clearing it. Lafleur, his pass off the stick. Lafleur chasing it. And it's broken up by Doak. Down the ice it goes. And the Canadian supporters and some of the Montreal players thought there should have been icing on that. Oh, there's Cornwall bumping Jonathan. And there's an offside.
Good call by Claude Béchard. What obviously many of the fans here missed was the fact that a Montreal player tipped it on the way down. And I know you caught it, I caught it, but some of the fans obviously didn't.
By and large, these officials do an outstanding job when you consider the pressure they're under, particularly in a game like this, overtime.
Well, they are, you know, and the replay usually bears out that they were correct, and that's quite a tribute to them. Because they're under as much pressure as the players, really.
Now Robinson up on the left side. Jarvis couldn't pick it up. Rattel ahead to Middleton in over the line. And the Canadiens defenseman of Robinson Lapointe back there. Here's Lapointe chasing it over to the right side. He'll get clear of it and out over the line. He couldn't. Now Gainey. Ahead it goes to Rizzo. Here's goal getting a break and a goal. He fired it. Blocked by Chivas. The first big scoring opportunity in the overtime. Back it goes and it's out over the line. And that for the Canadiens, their 25th shot on goal. Boston with 28.
We have a term we use among the goalies. You say the goalie's on the puck. That means he's positioning himself well. He's watching it. The puck looks like 3 feet large. And here again, Jerry's just in super position. He's out, he's in front of the crease. And really, Houle didn't have much to shoot at. And with the defenseman coming back, forcing him to hurry it. Here you'll see Jerry outside the crease. Perfect position. Nothing to shoot at. And just a good save, you know. He's just been so solid in there. It's really good to see because I know he really wanted to do well in this series after last year, and he's sure done it.
It is O'Reilly. Over on the right side, Cashman on the other wing. McNabb at center for Boston. Lafleur, Lemaire and Schutt for the Canadiens. Here is Savard. Up it goes. Schutt is over the line with Lemaire. Poked away by Park. Boston coming back. O'Reilly couldn't penetrate on the left side. He gets it again, over it goes, and Savard plays it off the boards. Out it goes, Lemaire. Try to get it across the line. There's Schutt chasing after it. And the Bruins take over. At center, it's Cashman across the line. Takes the shot, and Dryden held on.
Another sharp play by the goalie there. Not so much that it was a difficult save, but he gloved the puck and didn't allow a rebound. And in a situation like this, you just don't want to give the opposition any more chances than at all possible. And I think you'll see both goalies freezing the puck whenever they're able to. Here it is again. It's quite a ways out, but like I say, the secret here was Kenny grabbing the puck and holding it for no rebound.
Face off to the right of Dryden. Scotty Bowman has sent out Cournoyer, Lambert, and Jarvis. And Cashman, McNabb, and O'Reilly still up front for Boston, and Smith on defense. It's back at the line. Cournoyer chasing it to the far left side. Doak is the other defenseman for Boston. He broke up Lambert, got it a second time. Cournoyer racing after Cashman. Bonduc tried to get it, but it was way by him down the ice, and that's definitely going to be icing against the Boston Bruins. And 5 minutes and 34 seconds have gone by in this first overtime. And there is Don Cherry. So in this series, we have 2 men, 44 years of age, each of them, and their coaching record over recent years, that coaching record has been sensational by both Bowman and Cherry.
Winners all the way, both of them.
Backhand shot. He's pulled wide. Another shot. Two big saves. Here's Robinson shooting it. And it went off LaFleur's leg wide. Great chances. Right out in front of his foot. They got it in. And an open net. Now Bears shot it wide. Here's Robinson shooting it in there. Right in front. Another shot. Another save. Oh!
Unbelievable.
Remarkable goaltending by Cheevers. Have you ever seen the like of that?
Oh, that's just the greatest. I mean, Jerry's just doing everything. He must have stopped. I don't know if you could keep count of how many shots he stopped. Let's see if they'll show us here in the replay. There's the first one. Now the rebound. He comes out again, cuts the angle down, stops one. The rebound up in the air. It's going to come back to the point here. Now watch him turn around. Robinson shoots it. He gets his left pad on it in the corner. Now Boston trying to get a whistle here. They're not able to. The puck's going to go around. Jerry's lost his stick. It's kept in. He dives across. Stops one. You think he's out of trouble. He just picks himself up. You know, the puck doesn't come out front here again. In a minute to Cornwall. One save. It's loose. Another great save. And, you know, what can you say? It's just incredible. Puck won't go in.
Absolutely phenomenal, the work by Cheevers. Here's LaFleur taking his shot. And it hit a leg. Here's Middleton getting in on goal. Shoots on time. Rises to the heights for the Canadiens. Here's LaFleur chasing it on the right side. Robinson trying to get in front. And Park cleared it away. They're going all out. They want to end this just as soon as possible. But the goalies refuse to give in. Now Park shooting it into the center ice area. Off Middleton's stick, back in it goes, and LaPointe lobbed it high into the air. Park feeding a pass in on the left side. Jonathan moving in against Robinson, who cleared it to the other side. Middleton trying to come up with it. Robinson gets it again. Out on the left side, the center. O'Brien feeding it ahead. Brettel penetrates the line. Brettel taking a shot, and it's blocked by LaPointe. Canadiens, good move by Steve Shutt. Here's Shutt running it over the line. He falls down at the line. And what a reaction by the crowd. Here's Lemaire coming back for the Canadiens with Réjean. Ooh, that shot ricochets off the leg and an offside.
Wow, great excitement. I know Mr. and Mrs. Nyrob are probably watching this game back in Minneapolis, and we have a report that Bill had a wound under his right eye, nothing serious. He's gone to the hospital and obviously be lost for the rest of this game. Here the replay is Steve Shutt with a puck. This is the hook here, and see, he doesn't really go down, and here's another little trip, and you know, in a different time, a different situation, there may be penalties, but in a game like this, you can't really call something like that. Not that...
What infraction is going to bring about a penalty in the overtime?
Good question.
Score is tied at 2 goals. And LaPointe over to Savard. Now loose puck over on the far side. Cashman is racing up. Taken out of the play by Jarvis. There is LaPointe off the boards. Gainey starting up on the left side. Gainey taken out of the play by O'Brien. O'Brien has played some fine hockey since coming into the game in the second period. Number 28 for Boston. Now O'Reilly going down to the line. Here's Cashman. It's knocked off his stick, and Gainey starts away with Réjean. Oh, Gainey in over the line. Here's Gainey trying to get in front. Poked away by Rick Smith. The Bruins get it out over the line. Savard takes a look over to Robinson. Robinson into the center ice area, hits the Boston line. He weaves into the corner. Here's Robinson getting in front of backhand shot. A scramble. High off. And again, Cheevers holds it up.
Tougher save than it looked like. With Robinson cutting out front, the important thing there for the goalie is to hold his ground. And Jerry not only held the ground to make the first save, but he remained stationary, and Robinson wasn't able to jam it in. Here you'll see a great burst of speed here by Larry Robinson. And he handles the puck real well, as you'll see here, Danny. He comes out front, he shoots, and there's Jerry on the puck again, gets that leg in the right place, and they're not able to jam it by him.
Chico, the potency of the Canadiens' offense in this overtime is reflected in the shots on goal. At the end of 3 periods, Boston at 28, The Canadiens had 20. Now Montreal has 31 and Boston has 30. So Canadiens are out shooting them 11-2 in the overtime. And it's still tied at 2 goals. Schmutz rolling it into the center ice area. 11 minutes and 34 seconds left in the first overtime. Here is Schmutz trying to center it. It goes into Dryden. He catches it. Number 19, Shepard, was there looking for a loose puck.
I've seen these games so often, I'm sure you have too, Danny, where one team completely controls it, can't seem to put the puck in the net, the other team will come down, get one good chance, and end it. And it's just incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a team with so many good chances and the puck, you know, mainly because of Jerry, just hasn't gone in the net. And it's got to be a good feeling for Boston. They got to feel that they kind of have 9 lives tonight.
Well, in this overtime, Cheevers has kept them in there. Now Canadiens shot into the center ice area, long pass. Here's Lafleur chasing it. He missed it. Into the corner, Park. Laying it ahead on the left side. And
it'll be icing. Icing
against the Montreal Canadiens.
Lafleur was going in the corner there, Dan, to pick
He
up
missed
the puck.
it completely, didn't he?
Correct. So again, another example of I missed it until the official called it, and then I realized, here, you'll see it. But the officials are really sharp, and he misses the puck there, and it should be icing, and Claude Béchard does a good job of calling it. Every face-off was important, and that was a big break for the Bruins.
The Bruins with the defense of Milbury and Parkin over the Canadiens line. Schmutz spins Savard around. Lafleur against the boards, watched closely by Shepard. And again, we'll get a face-off in Canadian territory, and this has to be advantageous to the Boston Bruins getting all these face-offs down there in Montreal territory. Lafleur and Schmutz move too quickly. And now let's see what's going to happen from in front. Savard gets it out. He hit Lafleur. Lafleur ahead on the left side. Shutt jams the shot in there wide. In along the boards, Milbury. Here's Steve Shutt with it. Takes the shot. Cheevers is getting a face-off in his zone. And now Montreal out shooting Boston 32-30.
We're rapidly approaching the longest overtime game this year, Dan. The longest game went 10 minutes and 17 seconds, and Boston beat Chicago 4-3. Peter McNabb got the winner.
In recent years, you know, overtimes do not go very, very long. The way I guess hockey is played today, you have defensemen or offensive men, and the teams go out there and they want to get it over with.
That's right.
Now here's Lafleur, over for Lemaire. Lemaire trying to center it against Rattel. It's back on the left side. Jonathan hands it off to Middleton. Middleton had the Bruins' best scoring opportunity in this overtime, and now the Canadiens with De La Pointe ahead it goes. Lemaire shooting it! Oh, that was a blistering drive. It was wide. Now off the glass. Gainey keeping it in. Gainey off the bench, goes to the corner. Gainey trying to jam it out in front. Here's Gainey at the side of the net. Smith is down. Puck is under Smith. Face-off will be to the right of Cheevers. That was a lot of hustle by Gainey. You notice he just came off the bench and in there.
Yeah, he's one of their hardest workers. And Rick Smith, who we're looking at, we talked about it earlier, but he's just played just a great game. And here again, he's out front where he should be. He sees the puck is loose there, and although Montreal fans didn't agree, I think it was a good call that he didn't get a penalty and he was able to tie it up. And another good effort by Rick Smith, who's having himself a great game tonight.
So it's a sweltering atmosphere that we have at the Montreal Forum, literally and figuratively. The tension, you can cut it. And it's hot. Now back it goes to, backhand shot by Jarvis. Weak shot wide. Into the corner. It's cleared on the left side by Milbury. Down into the Canadian zone. Robinson tried to hit Gainey. It's off his stick. There's Park being watched by Jarvis. Jarvis falling. Park off the boards. Rattel dropping it back for Jonathan. Jonathan at the line. His shot is going in on goal. Great play by Jonathan, but he couldn't control it. Canadians starting on the left side. Jarvis taken on the play by Todd. Middleton off the board. Speeds it ahead. Savard clearing it to center. Here's Rattel. Intercepted by Robinson. Robinson coming down. Robinson, takes the shot. And Cheevers had it covered all the way. Now it's back out over the line from the stick of the Canadiens player. No icing, of course, on that. And Savard lays it up on the left side. Now there's the lead pass. Mondu, he's bumped. O'Reilly playing it to Cashman over on the right side with McNabb in on the line. Hot shot by Cashman. Oh, he had plenty on that one.
Tougher save than it looked. Kenny tried to screen a little bit, and Cashman got good wood on it. And again, not only did Kenny make the save, but he hung on for the rebound here. Again, you'll see it here, and he gets good wood on it. Kenny made a good glove save, and of course then he hung on for the rebound, which is what you want to do. There you'll see the Bruin player. A rebound there could have been deadly.
Chico, we are now into the longest overtime of the 1978 playoffs, the previous to 10-17. There you see Gainey upending his check in the center ice area. Austin, everybody up. O'Reilly on the boards. Cournoyer getting it out to Lambert with Cournoyer. In it goes. Cournoyer in behind the net. Cournoyer centered it, and it's gobbled up by O'Reilly. Knocked off his stick by Lemaire. Doak gets it to the line. Canadians keeping it in. It's knocked down in front by Lemaire, and he couldn't get a shot away. Canadians applying the pressure. Here's Lemaire. He falls. The Bruins out on the right side. O'Reilly with McNabb and Cashman. O'Reilly trying to get through there, and LaPointe drifted it into the air. Lemaire couldn't pick up the pass from the stick, or Lambert couldn't from the stick of Lemaire. Now along the boards. It's at the line. Smith over to O'Reilly. O'Reilly cut by two players. Now O'Reilly digging to the right side and feeds it finally over the glass.
Well, you wonder how long Montreal can keep the sustained pressure. They've just been going and going right from the opening faceoff, and still it's tied. And like I say, going with the three defensemen, you wonder if they couldn't be a little bit tired. We've seen a lot of Lafleur and Shutt, so it appears that Scotty's been going with primarily maybe 8-10 players.
Robinson, Jumondu ahead on the right side. LaPointe cleared it in over the line. Out it comes. Here's Lafleur with Mondu. Lafleur drops it back, and Schmutz has it. Over on the left side. Oh, LaPointe just stopped that. It was headed for Marcotte, who would have had a clear path in on the left side. They struggle on the boards. Mondu playing it to center. Marcotte rips a shot into the corner. There is Robinson. Or checking number 19 for Boston, Shepard. Motionless is Robinson. He takes a look. Now Lafleur. Lafleur, rink-wide pass for Mondu. Mondu over the line, puts on the brakes. Takes the shot. It ricochets off the stick to the far corner of Marcotte. He hit Shepard with it. Shepard shooting it. And Dryden grabbed that, and that is Boston's 32nd shot on goal. Robinson leading a four-man Montreal attack. Lafleur shoots. Robinson. Canadians have won it 3-2. And you know, Scotty Bowman, this is the first time I've ever seen him do it. He left the bench, and he has gone down there to congratulate Lafleur. And of course, the Canadiens bench empty, and Montreal getting a tremendous ovation. And they realized how important this game was, and what a struggle the Boston Bruins put up here tonight. So the Canadiens up 2-0 in the series. There's Robinson. And we'll have a chance for you to describe it later, Chico.
I think your last statement, where you said Montreal knew they were in a game, I think that was indicated by the fact that Scotty, for the first time, came out on the bench. I know when I'm in probably the tougher games, you always seem to have a little more enthusiasm. Here's the overtime goal, given to Guy Lafleur, and he fires from the top of the circle, and again, he shoots the puck so well, just misses Jerry's left pad. And again, it wasn't, I mean, it's hard to say. Jerry stopped so many great ones, and you might say, well, what was he doing on that one? But Lafleur, who I've always said, you take velocity and accuracy, Guy Lafleur is number one, and he indicated it there again. Here's the play.
There it is, Chico.
Oh, yeah, Larry Robinson makes the play again, gives it to Guy, and now we'll see exactly where he shoots the puck from, just outside the top of the circle. And again, a bullet, low, and just the perfect spot, just below the goalie's glove, and I guess that comes as no surprise.
So he has done it so often. Super great hockey players, they rise to the occasion, don't they?
They have to. I guess that's why you consider them great. And a big article on Guy today in the paper, and
the third star,
you know, like I say, you know it as well as I do.
Well, Jerry Cheevers was selected as the third star, no question about it. And he didn't stay out to take his bow.
We'll return with Stanley Cup 78 in just a moment.
What's it take to brew a great light beer?
You gotta have heart, miles and miles and miles of heart. If you're gonna brew a beer with great taste, there's only one place to start. Molson Light has got heart, 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 miles and miles of heart, heart, heart. Molson Light has got heart.
Had one yet?
A couple of chaps named Irvin and Kelly have enjoyed this hockey game tonight, I'm sure equally as well as the viewers have from coast to coast in Canada and the United States. The Canadiens winning it 3-2 in overtime. That's Guy Lafleur's second overtime goal. He scored one against the Vancouver Canucks a few years ago here at the Forum. Dan Kelly, I kind of wondered on the goal. Chico said, well, you might look at Jerry Cheevers and say, what was he doing on it? I wondered if Cheevers maybe thought the shot was going to the far side.
I think when you have a hockey player, Dick, of Guy Lafleur's ability, that's goaltender's problem. He doesn't know what he's going to do, and I think Cheevers may have been thinking that Lafleur was going for the wide side as well, and Lafleur rocketed it by him on the short side, and you can't really fault Cheevers. What a hockey game he played, and I was really delighted to see him. You know, one of the old veterans on that hockey club, and he really came up tall and just played himself a great game. And I thought the interesting thing, Dick, is Lafleur, as we look at the goal, and it's interesting that the big Canadian guns, Robinson and Lafleur, a couple of them, Robinson with the pass, here's Lafleur's shot, right under Cheevers' glove as he beats him to the short side. And I thought the interesting thing, Dick, Lafleur had not played as well here tonight as he has in many a hockey game.
Should Ken Dryden have had an assist?
He handled the puck.
Certainly.
Got it to Robinson. Over on the right side to Lafleur, and the low shot just under Cheevers' glove on the short side. But the interesting thing, Lafleur looking well, ordinary tonight, while he usually looks superlative, but he comes up and gets the winning goal.
He certainly did not dominate the game, Dan. You're right, the way he did here with the opener on Saturday. That's got to be a tough one for the Bruins. But I don't know. A win here tonight, it would have been a completely new series. And really, for 3 periods, I thought they outplayed the Canadiens, but they certainly did not in the overtime.
No, it was really a question of how much time it was going to take, or if Boston was going to get a break, because the Canadiens just seemed to keep coming on, and you wondered how long they could hold on. The only thing I thought was, well, Boston's going to get a breakaway sometime and maybe upset the apple cart. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great hockey game.
Dan, thank you very much. Look forward to working with you in Boston on Thursday night. Dan will be there along with Chico Rush and Lou Nanny as we bring you Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. The Canadiens have taken the 2-0 lead on the goal by Guy Lafleur in overtime. Larry Robinson assisting at 13:09. So the final score tonight, the Montreal Canadiens 3, the Boston Bruins 2. Good night from Montreal.